Every morning before sunrise, Riley walked across the flight line with a canvas bag full of precision tools slung over her shoulder. She wasn't a pilot, wasn't a decorated officer, wasn't even a technician on paper. She was the supply runner, moving torque wrenches and calibration kits between hangars. Nobody saluted her. Nobody looked twice. That was fine. Better than fine. It was the arrangement she preferred. The real story of who she was, and what she once commanded, stayed hidden beneath the simple patch on her coveralls that read, Logistics Support. The hangar doors were half open when she arrived. Inside, a dozen maintenance crew members clustered around a fighter jet, sleek angles, matte paint, the kind of aircraft that didn't officially exist. She recognized every inch of that airframe. She spent 5 years testing its classified command architecture. She bled for it, watched teammates go home without their memories, watched others never go home at all. But here, nobody knew that. A sergeant waved without looking up. Tools go on the cart, Riley. Copy, she muttered. She set the bag down and unzipped it in silence, laying out instruments carefully, measuring for accuracy without being asked. Across the hangar, a pair of test pilots stood with clipboards arguing about control software. One of them, a tall officer with a sharp jaw and a sharper tone, was losing patience. "You're telling me this aircraft still won't respond to the voice interface?" he snapped. The technician stammered. "Sir, the latest firmware patch didn't." "Ridiculous," the officer cut in. "Billions in development and it can't do what the engineers claim. Do I need to yell at the contractor myself?" Riley kept her head down, pretending not to listen. The jet's nose seemed to point directly at her where she crouched by the tool bag. A soft vibration hummed through her memory, an echo from years ago. She remembered standing in a sealed chamber, helmet wired, sensors recording neural patterns while she spoke the first activation phrase. She remembered watching the jet lift off the ground without a pilot inside. She remembered the thrill, and the terrifying truth, that her voice had been fused into the aircraft's command DNA. They built it around her, like a steel guardian bonded to her pulse. Then they erased everything, disbanded the program, scrubbed it from records. The only reason she was free now was because she requested a discharge instead of another round of classified duty. They agreed, as long as she stayed quiet. She did. Until today. The officer walked closer to the jet. If the voice interface isn't functional, the whole premise of the neural hybrid command protocol is pointless. "It works," Riley said before she realized she'd spoken. The hangar froze. Every head turned. The officer blinked. "What did you say?" She stood slowly, brushing dust from her knees. "I said it works. Your protocol. The design. It works exactly as intended." The technician frowned. "With respect, supply runners don't have the technical clearance to weigh in on classified systems." Riley's eyes shifted to the nose of the aircraft. She took a breath she hadn't taken in years. "Sometimes the problem isn't the machine," she said softly. "Sometimes it's the voice." A ripple of confusion moved through the group. A few snickers. The officer crossed his arms, calculating whether to humiliate her or ignore her. "Ma'am," he said in a patronizing tone, "unless you have something more useful than poetic metaphors, I suggest." "Ghost 1, Riley said. 2 words. Every sensor in the aircraft lit up. A low tone rumbled from inside the fuselage. Heads whipped toward the jet. Lights flickered to full readiness. The landing gear hydraulics sighed as weight shifted, like a living thing waking from sleep. The officer stepped back in shock. Riley kept her gaze trained on the dark canopy glass. "Rise," she commanded. The jet rolled forward a full meter. Screams erupted. Tools clattered to the floor. Someone hit the emergency stop switch on the wall. Nothing happened. The aircraft's internal systems overrode the hangar lockout. Riley's pulse hammered like it did the first time she connected her mind to a machine that could cross continents in a breath. "Shut down," she said firmly. Instant silence. The jet stopped. Lights dimmed. Systems went dark, obedient. Every person in the hangar stared at her as though she had just conjured the impossible. The officer's voice was barely audible. How did you do that?" Riley swallowed. Her throat was tight. Memories pressed against her like ghosts in a sealed room. "The interface isn't universal," she said. "It's genetic imprinting. A voiceprint embedded in the neural core. It only responds to one operator sequence." "But that would mean," the technician whispered. Riley nodded. "I was the operator sequence. The officer stared at her, calculating everything he thought he understood about the aircraft, and realizing he understood nothing. "Who are you?" She smiled sadly. "I was just delivering tools." A laugh burst from somewhere in the hangar, a nervous, disbelieving sound. Others stood in stunned silence. The officer stepped closer, studying her face like it contained answers he had been seeking for months. "You were part of the original command program," he said. It wasn't a question. Riley debated lying, but something inside her, something buried under years of anonymity, rose up with quiet pride. "I was the program," she said. Shock settled into the air like dust after an explosion. Nobody knew what to do with the truth. Engineers whispered her designation, rumored but never confirmed. The aircraft sat motionless, like a loyal animal waiting for its handler. The officer's voice steadied. "Why are you here as a supply runner?" She looked at him with tired eyes. "Because nobody was supposed to know I existed. And because I needed to live somewhere that didn't require me to command weapons capable of starting wars." His expression softened, not pity, but respect. "If what you just did was real, we need you." Riley shook her head. "The world doesn't need more people who can make machines obey. It needs people who carry tools quietly to keep them from breaking." The officer studied her a long moment. "The aircraft responded to you even after all these years. That bond doesn't disappear." "It's not a bond," she said gently. "It's a flaw. One they fixed when they shut the program down. Or thought they did." She reached down, zipped the tool bag closed, and lifted it to her shoulder. "No more demonstrations," she said. "Please." The officer nodded. "Not an order, an agreement." She walked away, footsteps soft across the hangar floor. No one stopped her. No one laughed now. The room felt different, like everyone had seen a ghost hidden in daylight. Outside, sunrise washed the runway in gold. The air smelled like jet fuel and clean wind. She took a long breath. Behind her, a machine built to answer her voice waited in silence, unaware that the person it once belonged to was just a silhouette walking away across the tarmac, content to be invisible again. She smiled. Being invisible was easier. But now everyone in that hangar would remember the day supply runner Riley told a jet to move, and it listened.